Zeus, the king of God. Before there was anything, there was only chaos, a dark and formless void. Chaos was the first of the gods, but he was not a creator or a ruler. He simply existed in the endless emptiness, without order or purpose. But from chaos, other gods emerged, either by themselves or by his power. The first ones were Gaia, the earth, who became the mother of all living things. Tartarus, the abyss, who became the prison of the wicked. Eros, the love, who became the force of attraction and desire. Erebus, the darkness, who filled the deep regions of the world. And Nyx, the night, who brought the darkness over the sky. Erebus and Nyx slept together, and they gave birth to Ether, the bright upper air, and Hemera, the day, who brought the light over the sky. Nyx also had many other children by herself, such as Moros, the doom, Thanatos, the death, Hypnos, the sleep, Oneiroi, the dreams, and many more. These were the forces that haunted the minds and souls of mortals and gods alike. Gaia also had children by herself, such as Uranus, the sky, who became her husband and covered her from all sides. Aria, the mountains, who became her guardians and ornaments. And Pontus, the sea, who became her ally and rival. Gaia and Uranus had many children together, such as the 12 Titans, the 6 Cyclopes, and the 3 Hecatoncheires. The Titans were the first generation of gods who ruled over different aspects of the world. The most important ones were Oceanus, the river that encircled the world; Hyperion, the lord of light and the sun; Thea, the lady of sight and the moon; Cuus, the god of intelligence and the north; Phoebe, the goddess of prophecy and the south; Crius, the god of the constellations and the southwest; Mnemosyne, the goddess of memory and the mother of the muses; Themis, the goddess of law and Ord; Iapetus, the god of mortality and the father of Atlas; Rhea, the goddess of fertility and the mother of the Olympians; Cronus, the god of time and the leader of the Titans; and Tethys, the goddess of the sea and the wife of Oceanus. The Cyclopes were the one-eyed giants who were skilled in crafting and forging. They were Brontes, the thunderer; Steropes, the lightener; and Arges, the bright. The Hecatoncheires were the 100-handed and 50-headed monsters who were mighty and violent. They were Cottus, the striker; Briareus, the vigorous; and Gyges, the big-limbed. Uranus was afraid of his children, especially the Cyclopes and the Hecatoncheires, and he hated them for their ugliness and strength. He did not want them to see the light of day, so he pushed them back into Gaia's womb, causing her great pain and anger. Gaia asked her children to help her get rid of Uranus, but only Cronus, the youngest and the most ambitious of the Titans, agreed to do so. Gaia gave Cronus a sickle made of adamant and told him to wait for Uranus to come and lie with her. When Uranus came, Cronus ambushed him and cut off his genitals with the sickle, throwing them into the sea. From the blood that spilled on the earth, the giants, the Erinyes, and the Meliae were born. From the foam that formed in the sea, Aphrodite, the goddess of beauty and love, was born. Cronus became the new king of the gods, and he married his sister Rhea. He freed his siblings, the Titans, from their father's oppression, but he kept the Cyclopes and the Hecatoncheires imprisoned in Tartarus, guarded by the dragon camp. He also learned from Gaia and Uranus that one of his children would overthrow him, just as he had overthrown his father. To prevent this, Cronus decided to swallow his children as soon as they were born. He swallowed Hestia, the goddess of the hearth; Demeter, the goddess of the harvest; Hera, the goddess of marriage; Hades, the god of the underworld, and Poseidon, the god of the sea. But Rhea was unhappy with this, and she asked Gaia for help. Gaia told Rhea to go to Crete and give birth to her last child there. She also told her to wrap a stone in a cloth and give it to Cronus as if it was the baby. Rhea did as she was told, and she gave birth to Zeus, the god of the sky and thunder, in a cave on Mount Ida. She left him to be raised by the nymphs and the Curetes, who protected him from Cronus by clashing their spears and shields to mask his cries. Zeus grew up to be a strong and clever god, and he learned about his father's deeds from Gaia. He decided to challenge Cronus and free his siblings. He disguised himself as a cupbearer and offered Cronus a drink that made him vomit out his children and the stone. The stone was placed at Delphi and became the sacred Omphalos, the center of the world. Zeus and his siblings, along with some of the Titans, the Cyclopes, the Hecatoncheires, and other allies, waged a war against Cronus and the rest of the Titans, who were supported by some of the primordial gods, such as Nyx, Erebus, and Tartarus. The war lasted for 10 years, and it was called the Titanomachy, the Battle of the Titans. The war was fierce and destructive, and the earth shook and the sky thundered. Zeus used his thunderbolts as his main weapon, which were given to him by the Cyclopes, whom he had freed from Tartarus. He also freed the Hecatoncheires, who threw huge rocks at the Titans. The Titans fought back with their own weapons and powers, but they were no match for Zeus and his allies. Zeus and his allies prevailed, and the Titans were defeated and banished to Tartarus, where they were bound by chains and tormented by the Hecatoncheires. Zeus became the king of the gods, and he divided the world among his brothers. Poseidon got the sea, Hades got the underworld, and Zeus got the sky. He also married his sister Hera, and they had many children, such as Ars, Hephaestus, Hebe, and Eileithyia. But Zeus was not faithful to his wife, and he had many affairs with other goddesses and mortal women. He often changed his shape to seduce his lovers, and he fathered many famous heroes and demigods, such as Heracles, Perseus, Apollo, Artemis, Athena, Hermes, and Dionysus. Hera was very jealous and angry, and she often tried to punish Zeus and his offspring, but she could not match his power and cunning. Zeus was also the supreme judge and ruler of the universe, and he maintained order and justice among gods and mortals. He was the source of weather phenomena, such as thunder, lightning, rain, and wind, and he controlled the seasons and the fate of the world. He was worshipped by many people in ancient Greece, and he had many temples and shrines dedicated to him. He was also associated with the oracle of Dodona, where his priests interpreted his will through the rustling of the sacred oak tree. Zeus was the most mythical and powerful of the Greek gods, and he had many adventures and stories that reflected his attributes and influence. He was revered and feared by both gods and mortals, and he was the symbol of the Greek civilization and culture.